Right, got a bit of a stud removal job to do. Well, I believe it's a stud. It might be a bolt, but I believe it's an engine mounting for a. Well, I know it's for a Volkswagen because it says so there. But as you can see, broken stud. So what I'm going to try and do is going to set it up on the mill and see if I can get it out. So I'm probably going to set it up on a faceplate, mount it like so, or maybe not so, whichever way looks easiest, because these are machined, and so are these actually, so I might use them for a bit of extra bracing. Well, that's a bit awkward. I've just found out that, or I've just realised that these are not square with these. So this is a machined surface, although it's been painted. It's machined, and standing on there, facing it up. So that's standing on the end faces. That's now square with the bolt fixings. So I've got to come up with a new plan. Okay, I've got it set up, and what I've done is I've levelled the two stanchions. So this is the first one. And the second one. So I've got those two level. I've already trammed up and down and actually found out that when it is clamped up, it's level, or should I say, it's 0.02 mil between total ends. So close enough for what I want. So the next step is to try and find the centre of the broken stud and see if we can drill her out. Just to give you a better overview of how I've got my dial gauge set up. I've just got it mounted in a chuck, and so I've levelled the two stanchions. At the moment I've only got one bolt in it. I'm going to put a clamp, possibly through here actually, T-clamp it. So this is the final setup. Due to some restrictions at the back here, I've had to use some M8 bolts. Not ideal, but they're plenty rigid enough. This actually goes all the way down to the bottom of the T-slot, so it's actually sitting. It can't be pushed down or anything like that. It can only be pushed from side to side. Bearing in mind we are doing the machining on this bit here, and the foot for both this bracket appears to be about here, so it is more on this side luckily. I don't think it's going to move anywhere, but so that's it. I've got one bolt which actually bolts into this. So I've got two bolts with clamps and a bit of a jiggery pokery clamping it to the back. So with that, now we're ready to go. It's actually the next morning. It was getting late last night, so I just called it a night once I got it all set up. Next step is try and find the centre, and basically it's not a super accurate part, so I'm just going to do it by eye anyway. And for the most part I'm pretty much there. Just a little bit of tweaking, and I think we'll call that on centre. At least I hope so. We'll find out. But it's going to be close enough for what we need to do on this. I'm using a centre drill. once I've got it started and it looks right, I might actually step it up a size as well, just try and get a bigger hole, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure how hard these bolts are, and apparently they are bolts. Well, in fact they are bolts, they're not apparently about it, they are bolts. But we'll see how well it drills, really. Well, it's hard, but it's drilling. That looks pretty good. You notice I'm using the quill to go in and out rather than the raising and lowering the knee. Sometimes I use the knee, but when I feel there is a chance of something being a bit too hard or problematic, I tend to use the quill. Personal preference, but I find it gives me a bit more feeling as to what's going on, where you don't get that with the knee. Oh, that's getting a bit tight. I always find the outside of a bolt is a lot harder than the inside, or at least generally speaking. That was the bottom of the bolt then. Ah, you bastard. That is not what I wanted to happen. So, I'm now faced with a broken drill bit. Unfortunately, the drill bit shattered. So, it is actually well buried in there. So, that's not good. So, all I can do now is drill down as far as I can. I've got a brand new drill bit. We'll see how much is in the bottom. I don't think there's much in there, but I can go down as far as I can and maybe see if I can mill it out. But I'm not holding my breath now. I think what happened was part of the bottom of the bolt has sheared off and jammed the drill bit because it just literally exploded. Just wondering how deep that actually is. Right, okay. Looking at the deflection of that drill bit, I think that is actually touching the rest of the drill bit. So I think what I'm going to do is just go up to the maximum size, bore it out, and we will go from there. So I've got a 10mm milling bit, which I'm going to use to drill down to what's left of the drill bit. So I'm going to tap this out to N12, which apparently I've got more than enough room to do. The 10mm drill bit is not too large, because you need a 10.2 for an M1.75. So I've taken it out, and I've just had a poke around in the bottom there, and what's left of the drill bit is still loose. So I think I'm probably right in the fact that part of the bolt has sheared off and just shattered the drill, or the drill was just actually crap. Well, either way, it's still loose. So I'm going to have a dig around and see if I can get it out. I've got a pair of medical tweezers. I guess you call them tweezers. So I'm going to have a pick around and see if I can't get hold of it and just tease it out. Oh, you beauty. That was a bonus. So, and that's the tip. Focus. Sigh of relief. So, back at it. Seems literally that was just at the bottom of that bolt. So I'm going to go straight in for a tap-in size. So for an M12 1.75, it states 10.2mm drill bit. So I'm having a bad morning, really bad morning. So, broke a drill bit off, and for some reason I've lost my small tapping handle and my sprung centre. I've looked high and low for them, can't find them. So anyway, I picked out an old tap handle, but it's a bit small, but definitely a bit small for this. But at least I can swing it in the mill. And I'm using, the only thing I could find to hand that had a decent tip on it, what we used to call an oboe nail. These are the days when no compressed air guns or anything like that, and they used to use actually well, it more or less was a gun, and it literally used to fire the nails into concrete or metal. So these nails are frigging hard. So N12 or 1.75, bit of a coarse thread for steel. It's common enough thread, but the reason I'm going for it first of all is because this uses a 10.2mm pilot hole. Ideally, I'd like to use an M12 by 1.5. That uses a 10.7, I think, off the top of my head, pilot hole. So if I have trouble with this, I can step up and go for the next size without actually increasing the bolt diameter. So that's the thinking anyway. I'm making a conscious effort to go to and fro quite regularly. I'm not entirely sure what kind of material this is. I'm pretty sure it's cast steel of one description or another. But having had a bad morning so far, I don't really want it to continue. Must get my compressed air out here. I was a bit concerned about the depth I was getting on this tap. It didn't quite seem right. It wasn't far short of this side, but you know, I just felt that I should have been getting just a little bit deeper. So I had a poke around, and as it turns out, I don't know whether you can focus on this or not. There we are. That's the bottom of the bolt. Now strangely, there is no thread on the bottom part of that bolt. It is just totally devoid of thread. Don't know why that is. Don't know why that is at all. But I'm guessing that's why my drill bit sheared off. Because I can only think that this bit must be hardened for some extra reason. Whether they help guide the bolt in, or whether they help start a thread and then that self-tapping bolts. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so, but either I've decided I would. That's better. It's going a little bit better now. Have a poke around and found that, which to say. There we are. Right, just out of interest, a lot of taps or tap handles, get my focus, have a hole in the end. I don't know how many people realise that it's actually for helping do up and undo. Just put something through there, Just don't know how many people know that. Anyway, let's see if we can find a bolt. So there we go, all finished. I found a bolt, and it is a 12.9 hard bolt, so that should do them for whatever they want to do. They can shorten it up if need be. I'll see if I can get a photograph of it in place.